How you doing, sir?
Just fine, thank you. Uh, I was going to, well, I was going to start. See, remember we started last time and I said, we have to stop wanting. Remember, stop wanting.
Yes.
Be it. See, scripture keeps telling you all through there, be it. They tell you what the person's thinking, and then you see what he's doing. So you're thinking ahead of your evidence. So you got to stop wanting. You got to start being it. I am that now, not later. Now, now you can say something.
That's actually a great start. And I say that because there was a person on the YouTube channel, and they really couldn't grasp the ideal of how not to want what they didn't have.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's called daydreaming. In other words, you're told to dream the dream. Is not daydreaming, dreaming the dream, but
Absolutely.
it's not deep enough because it usually just goes by so quickly. But if you can focus on it, you see that what has your attention has your life. So if you're focused on that, then that will be what you'll be doing, being, and having, and it'll be automatic. See, you don't even have to prepare for it. It's automatic. You move in and think from that's you, being, doing, and having. Did that come across all right?
It did. And I want to touch on something, the word daydreaming, because actually that's what I ended up telling the person that they had to begin to act as if, pretend, daydream. Let's talk a little bit more about that because a lot of times people they see that simply as make believe, but they don't understand that the subconscious mind sees it as reality.
Oh, yes, yeah, yes. You see, subconscious mind was given a contract, so to speak. And what it does is it listens to your self-talk and produces your world in accordance. Is that what you want? I mean, is that, are you doing what you want? Are you dreaming the dream? You see, so many people, so all I hear from them is their nightmares. I mean, you're given to dream, but don't let it become a nightmare. And if it has become a nightmare, you can change it. And it's very simple. Change your mind, change your world. And you say that that's very difficult. Well, actually, it's difficult getting started, but once you're started, then it feeds on itself. It draws to you that which encourages you to uplift that idea. But you have to have it first. And you have to know what you want before you get it. You see, if you know what you want, stop wanting it and start being it. That's what scripture is telling you. Yeah, I mean, and you're in action, but what action are you in? You're using one power, but which way you going with it? Which way? See, you have choice, a negative or a positive. Why would you want to keep running the negative off in your mind when you can just as easily be running off the positive? Because all you have to do is choose it, right? Isn't that all you
Absolutely.
have to do is choose it?
That's it. It's
And
a,
you're told, choose this day. There you are. Start choosing it. And the thing of it is you are choosing it. And see, that's what you're doing, but you're doing it mostly unconsciously. And it is not, it's actually productive because it's being created by you as a situation that you're going to face down the line. Because I told you, you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So you want to be sure what you're thinking about is something you want to experience. Wouldn't that make sense?
absolutely. Absolutely. You said something. You said, listen, you think according to what it is that you want to manifest. but no matter what you're thinking, you're always reproducing after those thoughts. And I think that many people think that it's almost impossible to think what's lovely in a good report.
Yeah, really, really. You know, I mean, you can walk down the street and watch people passing you and see the expression on their face, and they're not happy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 1 out of 10 going by will won't be looking like that when they go by. And well, the thing of it is, you have to choose to be happy. You understand? I mean, you don't seem to have to choose to be negative, but you do have to choose to be happy, because otherwise you'll be negative. See, that's what you want to do. You want to listen to what you're talking to yourself about. And why? Well, because that's your future. You see, you'll get under the idea that I did, that's falling into the past. What you're thinking about, it was yesterday or a week ago. But no, you see, all that you say is creative. And the only reason you don't see it so obviously is because you change your mind so quick that in other words, that double-minded man don't think you're going to do anything. See, Jesus told you very plainly, I of myself can do nothing. This is from Jesus now. He says, the Father within does all the work, all, A-L-L, all the work. But you see, you think for some reason you have to do it. But no, you don't do the work. You do the choosing. That's the end of your work. Then God makes it so. Well, if he didn't do it, it wasn't done. So whatever you're doing, he did it through you, through your thinking and feeling. But it was diverted to subconscious mind, who actually does the producing of your world of experiencing. But you see, you have choice. You understand? You're always having choice. Choose this day, new this day. And if you just quit dragging yesterday into today, you can enjoy it much better, I'll tell you. All down through the ages, the wise men have said, man is the sum of his attitudes. So check them out, wouldn't you say?
How do you interrupt that old habitual thinking, that wiring, that habit, that because people think that they are their habits?
Hey, that's what it is. It's the wiring.
Yeah.
See, you're in charge of changing the wiring. I mean, that's what my friend, he's a computer something or other, and everything's wired, and he says, well, it's just a bad connection. Well, actually, that's true. It's a bad connection, but you can change it, and you change it by reiterating the idea you want to become a mindset, not the things that you don't want, because they'll become mindsets also. And the problem there is that they act automatically. See, you don't even have to think about it. You can get involved in something without even thinking about it, because if you have the mindsets and someone comes along and they trigger that mindset, well, there you are. But you can change it. See, that's the one thing you want to realize. This is a world of ideas, attitudes, and change. But you're given to choose to change. But if you're not choosing the change, then your environment around you is choosing the change for you. And I can tell you, I didn't like it. So I'm sure you didn't either. But it will persist. You see, but you must be a little more persistent. That's all there is to it. If you're more persistent than your mindsets to change them, see, you're set free. And actually, you were set free the moment you were given, choose this day. But if you're not choosing, well, then there you are. Someone says, well, I didn't choose this. Well, then you should have been about choosing. See, if you don't choose, you will be chosen for. It's an ongoing drama. There's no place to rest, even though I'm sitting most of the time. But actually, it's not what you're doing. It's what you're thinking. See, it's as you think you are, you do, you have, you be. Can you repeat that to yourself? Huh? Can you really? Well, I'll tell you, if you will do it several times a day, after a while, you'll have that mindset. So when you're not thinking about it, what it's thinking about for you is going to be positive. But you see, if you get lost in thought, you don't know what you're planting because you're still thinking. It's still important. It's still going to be your next step. Do you know where you want to go? I mean, like, what's your passion? Do you have a passion? See, if you don't have a passion, you're not dreaming the dream. And that's what you're told to do, dream the dream. And when you dream the dream, it becomes a passion. And that's what you think about most of the time. And what you think about, that's what you do. That's what you be. That's what you have. See, you're in charge. Take charge. Claim it. It's yours. God said it's yours. So you can claim it. But you have to show up to do so. And don't show up whining, crying, and begging, pleading to God. Come on. That would be an insult if he could be insulted. And you wouldn't want to do that. Oh, guy, I'll tell you, if this were a play, you'd understand it. Well, I'm telling you something, it is a play. This drama, man, this play of humanity, it's a play. It's God's play. It's his dream. God's dreaming the dream, but he gave you to choose the route, the direction. And that's all you have to do is just direct your own inner conversations. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just direct your own inner conversation with approval. With approval. See, you do a lot of thinking and you don't approve of it one way or another. Well, it's being creative. So just sit and think about these things. If you do that, if you actually just sit down, be still, shut up for a while. I mean, turn down the volume in yourself and just listen to what? Listen to the nothingness because it's all around you. But it's full of everything you want if you're in the right mood. And that's all you have to do. You have to create the mood. See, all you have to do is choose your next thought. That sounds easy, doesn't
it? It does.
But that's all you're doing. Look, it's like my wife says about, I look and I say, where'd it go? She goes, when you snooze, you lose. And you see, we're in the sleep, so we're snoozing. And in varying degrees of intensity and intent, we're all asleep. And this is the act of awakening. I mean, that's what you're supposed to be about, waking. And all you have to do there is just pay attention to what you're talking to yourself about. That's awakening. But if you're not paying attention, well, then you're in the sleep again. And you'll stumble over everything. How many times do you have to stumble your foot before you watch where you're going? And listening to what you're saying to yourself is watching where you're going. I think so, don't you?
I do. You said something, I wanted to go back to it. You said, listen, if you want desired change, then you have to reiterate, reiterate, reiterate. And you said over time, what's going to happen is that it's going to become a belief system. And most people really don't get that.
Yeah, no, everybody usually quit. I know I quit, and I quit. But you see, because you do know it, it'll nag you. But that's a good nag because it'll get you to move a little bit in the right direction. And look, if you know what you want, be it. Start right now being it. I am that. Maybe poorly, very poorly, unexperienced on all of that. That's for sure. But you see, if you stick with it, more and more information for that particular idea will come to you, and it'll expand and expand. In other words, as you grow, you outgrow. But it's not really growing. It's really awakening. You see, because even if you get a better idea than you had yesterday, wouldn't you've awakened that much? Yeah, it is that simple. It is that really that's the whole thing. It was made simple. I mean, like I say, if you were leaving your child a message of that was very, very important, even life-threatening, wouldn't you want to make it as simple as possible? As you think you are. That's our message. That's the whole message right there. If you want to know how to change things, well, then change what you're thinking. Because as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. It's that simple. But I was really a knothead, man. It took me years to even grasp what was happening, and it was happening all around me. But I couldn't see the connections. You're on all the time. That just being just being aware of the fact that you're on, when I mean on, you're creating a positive or a negative. And if you've got enough negative, then turn it off. I mean, that's all you have to do is just turn it off. If you got a negative thought, go, oh, wait a minute. Choose. See, it says choose this day. Are you choosing it? Because if you're not choosing it, I'll tell you what's happening. You're losing it. Because the environment is going, hey, look, your environment isn't looking to please you. It's you who pleases you. And you're about doing so every moment of time. Or pleasing yourself, yeah. Either that or being distraught over this, that, and the other. Look, it's all small incidents unless you blow it out of proportion. You can handle it as long as you don't make it bigger than you can handle. And a lot of people do that. There are situations they can handle just by a turn of mind. But no, they gotta make it complicated. That was my problem. I'd get a good idea and I'd examine it to dust. Now, how many times you think, wow, that'd be a good invention. Yeah. But do you get behind it? See, it takes you paying attention. That's the life of that idea you just thought was so great. Your attention. What has your attention has your life. So there's your opportunity. Choose it wisely. Come on. You're on all the time, but doing what? You're either thinking positive or thinking negative, and you can tell right away where you're at right there. Am I enjoying life? Good, great. expand on that. But if you're not, don't get caught up. See, you're told to be in the world, but not of the world. You see, because of the world, that means you're taking on. You ever see that picture of Atlas where he's holding the world on his shoulders? Well, just look at them coming down the street. They look like they're holding that world on their shoulder. when you're supposed to be enjoying life. I mean, it's here to enjoy. Why don't you enjoy it? It's a state of mind. Everyone in the world is in a state of mind. But what state is it? See, you know what state you're doing because you know what you're doing. But if you're doing it unwillingly, then that just means you're just out of control. But you're still choosing. And if you're out of control, then that's what you're thinking about. So you go more and more out of control until you go do something crazy. But you have to do, some people have to do some really crazy thing just to get their senses back for a moment. And that's about how long it lasts, too. I know. Oh, yeah. Well, I hear these ideas and I think, hey, man, that's really great. That's really great. And that, what? What was that? What? See how quickly, bam, that quick, you're sucked right back in. But once you start paying attention and once you get a mindset for it, you see, now you have an ally. Your mindset, if you're doing something wrong and you have a mindset otherwise, it'll kind of nudge you a little. But it really won't. No, you have to choose it. You do have to choose the mood you're in. Can you choose a mood? Well, there you are. Then get about choosing. You're told, show up and claim it. Like I said, Emmett Fox wrote a whole book on just stake your claim. A whole book on staking your claim. To who? To God. That's what praying is, isn't it? You're asking for something. Well, you don't need to ask for it. You already have it. Thank you, Father, is all that's needed. But you see, people don't shut up there. Then the next thing you know, within a few minutes, they're actually directing God as to how to put what they want together. If you know that, why don't you do it? Why do you need to go to God? See? No, Jesus told you straight out, I of myself can do nothing. The Father does all the work. All Jesus does is choose it. But it's answered. And you'll be answered. You'd say, well, but that's his only begotten. Well, so are you. Aren't you only begotten? There's not another one in the world like you. Sometimes that's really a blessing, but there's there's a lot more than that. It's a lot of times it's a blessing. But look, as you think you are, just go sit in the silence and think about that for a while. As you think you are, you're setting yourself up. Every time you think, you're either thinking positive or negative. If you're thinking positive, then you're lifting yourself. You're thinking negative, you're putting yourself down. And what somebody else knows doesn't matter. It's what you know. That's what matters in your life. What you know. Do you know? But you do. And what did God leave you? A remembrancer. The Holy Ghost, right? The remembrancer. That means, see, you already got the teaching. Jesus gave you the teaching. Then the Holy Ghost came in to remind you of what he told you. Are you listening? Now, he's there with you. See, I'm with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresent. Come on. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to. You're always with him. Where would you go that he couldn't go with you if he's you? The thing of it is that he gave you the permission, the authority. Choose this day. If you can't choose better than what you're experiencing, well, then it just goes on day after day after day. because you're choosing by appearances, and you're told not to choose by appearances, because then you just keep repeating the same thing that's going on. And if you're looking for change your mind, change your world, and you can do so. I know you. God told you to do so. See, I'm not telling you to do. Well, I'm telling you to do so, but it was God who originally told you to do so, and you're about doing so. But you're here to direct your own inner conversations. Not necessarily what you're saying with your mouth without, because that's where we all do our lying, you know. And if you're not healed, then you've been lying to yourself. Okay? Because God said that by his stripes, teaching of Jesus, by his stripes, you're healed. Well, he's already received stripes, so you should be healed. Come on, all this holy, holy, holy stuff. The only thing's holy is God. The rest of it's what he's doing. And he said if he didn't do it, it wasn't done. What? Done what? What you're thinking, feeling about, what you're experiencing, that's what you're doing. That's what he's doing. Because it's your direction. See, if you're not directing your own inner conversation, look out. It can really be a rotten world real fast. Look what's happened on Hawaii. Wow. What devastation. And it's all charged through mindsets. You see, we can blame it on bad weather and that, but you see, mindsets also do that. You're in charge. Take charge. See, that's all we need to do. If we'd all get on the same page, man, the whole show would change, wouldn't it?
It would.
I mean, come on, wouldn't it? If that's what the holy men of the East were gathering together, and everybody was tuning in on the same thought level, but it's never enough. There aren't enough. You see, because otherwise it would change. If it was just left up to them, it would be okay. But we all have to get in on it. So we changed, we caused all the changes. Look, this whole thing, this whole virtual reality goes away. Day by day, it's going away. Everything is dissolving and going away. Even us. But what are you, first person, present tense, feeling about your environment, about your love life, about what are you thinking about it? Is it always lovely and of good report what you're thinking about it? See, then that's what it'll be. But if you think you're thinking in here differently than what you're saying out here, it's going to change anything out here. And it's what you're thinking in here. That's what you're going to get. It's always up to you. Everybody on the TV, everybody's looking to buy tickets to this and tickets. Hey, you are the show. You don't need to buy a ticket. You are the show. You're on all the time. Then maybe nobody's clapping for you, but it doesn't need anybody else clapping for you, just you. It's as you think you are. So if you're clapping for what you say, okay. If you're not, start doing so right away. Look, you're not taking credit for what you do right, but you worry yourself into a frizzy over what you do wrong. So which one's going to be promoted the most in your environment? I'll let you figure that one out for yourself.